Very good afternoon to one and all, and welcome you all for the next lecture of heat transfer. Whether my voice is audible to everyone, and can you see my presentation? Great, great, great. So great to see you again for the HT lectures. And in the last lecture, we have discussed about the thermal conductivity of a materials. So a few materials we pick up and we check that how it varies material to material and for non-metals, for gases, for liquid, the range of that particular thermal conductivity, how it is varies. Okay, so that we have discussed in the last lecture. Also, we have discussed the variation of thermal conductivity with respect to temperature. What effect happen on a thermal conductivity, that is the property of a substance when the temperature rises or when the temperature decreases. Okay, so normally we have discussed that the thermal conductivity, the phenomena is because of a two mechanisms, that is nothing but lattice vibration and free electrons available in the non-metals. Okay, so in non-metals, both the mechanism available for the heat transfer, whereas in non-metals, in metals, both the mechanisms are available for the heat transfer, whereas in non-metals, only one mechanism available for the heat transfer. Okay, so that in metals, the thermal conductivity is higher as compared to the non-metals. Okay, then we have discussed that in case of a pure substance, will get the higher thermal conductivity, and as we are going to add the impurities, or as we are preparing the alloys of that particular material, in that case the thermal conductivity goes on decreasing. Okay, then there is a effect of various mechanical processes on the thermal conductivity, like machining, forging, joining processes. Okay, actually we are doing the heat treatment with or melting also. During the foundry process, we know that we have to melt the metal, and then we are preparing the component from the molten metal. So in that case also, the it will affect on the microstructure of that particular material, and due to that it will affect on the thermal conductivity. So most important thing, that is nothing but in most of the metals, the thermal conductivity decreases with increasing temperature, and there is two exceptions for that, that is nothing but aluminum and uranium. Okay, these are the two exceptions, where in case of aluminum and uranium, thermal conductivity will get increased as the temperature increases. Then we have seen that in case of non-metals, the thermal conductivity increases with increasing temperature. Okay, thermal conductivity increases with increasing temperature, whereas in liquid, the thermal conductivity decreases with increasing temperature because its density get decreases. Okay, so density decreases means what? Density decreases means what? Whether my voice is not audible, Pritam? Everyone, can you comment on the chat box? Audible now? Okay, okay, great, great. Okay, thank you, thank you. Okay, so in case of a liquid, the thermal conductivity get decreases because its density decreases. Density decreases means what? Intermolecular force between two molecules of a liquid get decreased, and because of that, the thermal conductivity of a liquid decreases with increasing temperature. Whereas the exception for this particular statement is nothing but water. In case of water, temperature increases, thermal conductivity also get increased. Now, in case of gases, as the temperature increases, the thermal conductivity of gases also increases. Okay, as the temperature increases, the thermal conductivity of gases also increases. So, in case of a porous material, this particular thermal conductivity depends on a gas or liquid which is filled inside the voids. Okay, porous means what? Which is having the small size holes called as a voids. Okay, called as a voids. And which liquid or which gas filled in that particular void, the thermal conductivity of porous material depends on that particular gas or that particular material, and the damp material is having higher thermal conductivity as compared to the dry material. Okay, so and the last statement is about the pressure. As we are increasing the pressure on the solid and liquid, or we can say that solid and liquid materials are weakly depend on the pressure, whereas the gases thermal conductivity is not dependent on pressure, that is independent of a pressure. Then we have discussed that most of the materials are following this particular equation for the variation of a temperature, for the variation of thermal conductivity with respect to temperature. So that is nothing but what the equation says, that thermal conductivity at a particular temperature will be equal to the K naught. Okay, so K is equal to K naught. K naught means what? Thermal conductivity at a 0 degree Celsius into bracket 1 plus beta multiplied by T. That is nothing but T is the particular temperature. Okay, so whereas beta is the temperature coefficient of a thermal conductivity, and its unit is the reciprocal of a degree Celsius. Okay, and this beta value is positive for the non-metals and insulating materials, whereas it is negative for the metallic conductors. Okay, so we have discussed this in the last lecture. Next point is our electrical analogy for the conduction, or Fourier's law. Okay, so write down the point: electrical analogy for Fourier's law of conduction. Okay, electrical analogy for Fourier's law of conduction. Okay, so I suggest everyone, for the more visibility, you can use zoom feature, or you just rotate your screen. Okay, if you have done rotation lock is there in your mobile, remove that lock and remove the rotate the screen, so that you'll get better visibility. Okay, you'll get better visibility as there are more equations. So our PowerPoint presentation is not that much user friendly for the equation. For that reason, I'm using the Word file. Okay, so please adjust your screen accordingly, so that you will get better visibility. So I suggest remove your rotation lock of your mobile and rotate your mobile, so that you will get better visibility of this particular Word file. Okay, and you can use the zoom feature also, so that the diagrams will be more visible, and whatever the written on this particular slides or Word file, so that will be more visible to you. Okay, 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 it is visible now properly, everyone? Just rotate screen and use zoom feature. Okay, use zoom feature. Okay, on your screen. Okay, so assume that everyone visible this particular PPT or Word file clearly, and I move forward for the explanation of this particular electrical analogy for Fourier's law of a conduction. Okay, so analogy means what? Analogy means we are trying to find out the similarities between two systems. Okay, we are trying to find out the similarities between two systems. That is nothing but, or it is called as a analogy. Okay, analogy of two systems. Okay, now here we have provided the sentence or the heading as electrical analogy for Fourier's law of conduction. So in this case, we are trying to find out the analogy between the electrical circuit and Fourier's law. Okay, we are trying to find out the analogy between electrical circuit and Fourier's law. Okay, so for that reason, initially we try to understand the electrical circuit. Okay, we try to understand this particular electrical circuit. So in electrical circuit, the current is flowing. In electrical circuit, current is flowing due to the potential difference applied across the electrical circuit. Okay, due to the potential difference applied across electrical circuit. Okay, so we can say that this is the cell, and due to that we are applying the potential difference across the electrical circuit. Okay, and the resistor which is opposes to to for the flow of electric current. Resistor is it is which opposes or which perform as a resistor perform as a oppositor to flow of electric current through the circuit. Okay, is there any question? No? Shall we move ahead? Okay, so this is the electrical circuit, and in electrical circuit, current will flow when we apply the potential difference across the circuit. When we apply the potential difference across the circuit. Okay, and in that case, current will flow, and resistance of that particular circuit will oppose the flow of electric current, which oppose the flow of electric current. Okay, so and to find out the quantity of a current in an ampere which is flowing through this particular electric circuit, we are using Ohm's law. Okay, so according to Ohm's law, current flowing in an electric circuit is directly proportional to potential difference applied across the circuit, and it is inversely proportional to electrical resistance. It is inversely proportional to electrical resistance. We know that the Ohm's law, and from this particular statement we can carry out the statement, or we can carry out this particular equation, that current I is equal to potential difference, that is dV, which is applied across the electric circuit, whole divided by electrical resistance, that is I is equal to dV divided by R, where I is the current, dV is nothing but potential difference, divided by R is nothing but electrical resistance. Okay, getting everyone? So everyone knows this particular phenomenon, or we can say that this particular law. Okay, now what happened in a conductor, in a conduction? Okay, what happened in a conduction? Okay, so we have discussed this particular diagram, and we know the Fourier's law. Now here we are considering that this particular surface is maintained at T1 temperature. Okay, and the backside surface is maintained at a T2 temperature. So the heat will flow from higher temperature region to the lower temperature region. We know that. Okay, now this particular rate of heat flow, according to Fourier's law, this particular rate of heat flow is directly proportional to the surface area which is perpendicular to the direction of heat flow, and also it is directly proportional to temperature gradient. It is also directly proportional to temperature gradient. Okay, so temperature gradient means dt divided by dx, or change in temperature with respect to change in length. Okay, so this is our Fourier's law, which is applied for the heat flow through composite or through a particular slab or particular wall. Okay, now after applying the Fourier's law, okay, by Fourier's law, we can say that we get this particular equation after applying the Fourier's law. Which equation? Q is equal to minus K multiplied by A multiplied by dt divided by dx. Okay, after applying the Fourier's law, we get this particular equation. Q is equal to minus K multiplied by A multiplied by dt divided by dx, where this K is the proportionality constant called as a thermal conductivity. A is the surface area which is perpendicular to the heat flow, and dt divided by dx is the temperature gradient. Okay, and if you want to segregate this dt, so in that case we have written over here Q is equal to minus K multiplied by A multiplied by dt is nothing but what? Temperature difference. Okay, so that temperature difference is T2 minus T1, next temperature minus initial temperature, T2 minus T1. Okay, and next temperature, our heat is always flowing from higher temperature region to the lower temperature region, so that T1 is greater than T2. Okay, T1 is greater than T2, and this provides you a negative value. This particular equation provides you a negative value. and to accommodate that particular negative value, we have provided one extra negative sign over here. Okay, to accommodate this negative value or negative sign, we have provided one extra negative sign over here. Okay, now if you want to take this negative side inside the bracket, okay, if you want to take this negative sign inside the bracket, then equation will becomes q is equal to k multiply by a multiply by t1 minus t2. Okay, we have taken this negative sign inside the bracket, so the sign will be changed. So t2 become minus and t1 become plus. Okay, so t1 minus t2, t1 minus t2. Okay, that I am trying to say in last few lectures. Okay, t1 minus t2. Okay, now we have absorbed this negative sign inside the bracket. Now we have to rearrange this equation once again. We have to rearrange this particular equation. How we are arranging this equation? So whatever temperature difference we are keeping at the numerator side only, and remaining part of numerator we are transferring that particular remaining part to the denominator. Okay, how we are changing this particular equation? Just the significance we are not changing, we are changing the position of the parameters only. Okay, significance will remain same. Okay, so just we are keeping the temperature at the numerator, temperature difference at the numerator, and remaining part of a numerator we are transforming this remaining part to the denominator. So after transforming, it will becomes q is equal to t1 minus t2 whole divided by dx divided by k multiplied by a. What we have done, we have just transferred k multiplied by a to the denominator side. So if you want to take it once again to the numerator, so there will be the same significance remain as it is as our initial equation. Okay, so significance of the equation will not change, just we have changed the position of parameters. Okay, just we have changed the position of parameters. Now we will get the equation as a q is equal to t1 minus t2 whole divided by dx divided by k multiplied by a. Okay, now once again we have reformed this particular equation as q is equal to dt divided by rth. Q is equal to dt divided by rth. Okay, now compare this equation, equation number 2 and equation number 1. This equation I is equal to dv divided by r, that is according to the Ohm's law, we'll get this equation as I is equal to dv divided by r. Okay, I is equal to dv divided by r. And by Fourier's law, we get this particular equation q is equal to t1 minus t2 whole divided by dx divided by k, k multiplied by a. And we have considered this dx divided by k multiplied by a as rth. Okay, we have considered this dx divided by k multiplied by a as rth. Rth is nothing but a thermal resistance. Rth is nothing but a thermal resistance. Okay, now you can analog this particular equation with equation number 1, with equation number 1. Okay, so in electrical circuit current is flowing, and in Fourier's in conduction or in a heat transfer, heat is flowing. Okay, and in electrical circuit current is flowing due to potential difference. Okay, current is flowing due to potential difference. In heat transfer, heat is flowing due to temperature difference. Okay, heat is flowing due to temperature difference, so that we can say that I is analogous to q. Okay, current is analogous to heat transfer. Okay, whereas potential difference is analogous to the temperature difference, and whatever the remaining part of that particular equation is nothing but a resistance. In the same manner, whatever the remaining part of this particular equation, whatever the remaining part of this particular equation, that is nothing but resistance offered for the heat transfer, resistance offered for the heat transfer, and that resistance is called as a RTH. That is nothing but a thermal resistance. That resistance is called as a RTH, which is called as a thermal resistance, which is called as a thermal resistance. Getting everyone how we are analog, how we are performing the analogy with the electrical circuit? Okay. Now, if you compare these two equations, we can note these points. Okay. If you compare the equation number 2 with the equation number 1, By the analogy between equation 1 and equation 2, we can say that the current I in an electrical circuit is analogous to Q in a heat transfer, whereas the potential difference in an electrical circuit, that is nothing but dV, is analogous to the temperature difference in a heat transfer, whereas the electrical resistance in a electrical circuit is analogous to the thermal resistance in a thermal circuit. Okay, so where the value of RTH, where the value of RTH, that is the thermal resistance, that is the thermal resistance, RTH value is nothing but dx divided by k multiplied by a. The value of RTH is dx divided by k multiplied by a, or we can say that the equation of RTH, that is the thermal resistance, R suffix th, we can say the thermal resistance is equal to dx divided by k multiplied by a, where the dx is nothing but change in length, or length traveled by heat to reach the another surface. Okay, length which traveled by heat to reach another surface, that particular length is called as a dx. Okay, so we can say this as a dx or L also, or you can write RTH is equal to L divided by K multiplied by A, where this L is nothing but length traveled or distance traveled by heat to reach another surface, to reach another surface. Okay, so that you can signifies as a dx or L also. Okay, no issue. So you can write any of this particular two equation, that RTH is equal to dx divided by K multiplied by A, or RTH is equal to L divided by K multiplied by A. Okay, getting this analogy, everyone? Is there any doubt, any question? First of all, we understand the electrical circuit. Okay, what is meant by electrical circuit, and how we are finding out the current in electrical circuit by using the Ohm's law. In electrical circuit, current is flowing. Okay, and it is because of a potential difference, and to flow and the resistance offered by the electrical circuit to flow the current. Okay, to flow the current in a similar manner in our heat transfer, the heat is flowing. Okay, and this particular heat is flowing because of a temperature difference, because of a temperature difference. Okay, and resistance offered by this particular substance, whatever the substance through which the heat is flowing, the resistance offered by that particular substance will be called as a thermal resistance. And to find out this particular thermal resistance, we have made some changes, or we have done some equation analysis over here. Okay, first of all, we have checked that the negative sign, how it can be absorbed in a dt. Okay, so and then further we have transfer whatever available remaining from the temperature difference, whatever available at the numerator side, we have transferred that particular terms, that is thermal conductivity and surface area, to the denominator side without changing the significance of that particular equation, and we will get this equation. So when you compare this equation with the electrical circuit or with the Ohm's law, then we come to know that Q is analogous to I, then temperature difference is analogous to potential difference, and whatever remaining part at the numerator is the resistance, and that resistance of an electrical circuit is analogous to the resistance of thermal circuit, or we can say that thermal circuit. Okay, so by the analogy between equation 1 and 2, we can write this particular 3 points, that current I is analogous to Q, potential difference dV is analogous to temperature difference dt, and electrical resistance R is analogous to the thermal resistance. Whereas the thermal resistance equation we can write as a dx divided by K multiplied by A. Okay, or L divided by K multiplied by A. Okay, so where this dx or L is nothing but distance traveled by heat to reach to another surface. Okay, to reach to another surface. Which distance? So thickness of this particular slab need to travel to reach the another surface. Heat should be travel to reach to another surface. heat should travel this the thickness of this particular slab, and thickness of this slab is dx. Okay, for that purpose we are taking over here a dx. Okay, and if you say that the length which traveled by the heat, then that will be L. Okay, so depends on your statement, you can write dx or L. Okay, no problem, no issue. Okay, then further thing, now we have to convert this our diagram into a electrical circuit. Okay, how we try to convert the our diagram in a electrical circuit? Now here, concentrate. Okay, so first of all, there is a temperature difference across the slab. One surface is maintained at a T1 degree Celsius temperature, whereas the another surface is maintained at a T2 degree Celsius temperature. And because of a temperature difference, heat is flowing. So we are saying we are providing this particular direction for the heat flow, and Q is nothing but amount of heat transfer from one surface to the another surface. Okay, and the resistance offered by this particular slab, that is nothing but the thermal resistance. So resistance is shown, this is the symbol for the resistance, and resistance value or the equation will be R suffix th is equal to dx divided by k multiplied by a. Getting everyone? समजतंय सगळ्यांना? Whether you understood or not, analogy between electrical circuit and the thermal circuit. Okay, please comment in the chat box if you want more explanation or any if any doubt in your mind, you can ask the question, or you can put up your doubt in a chat box also. Okay, is there any question, any doubt? So this is called as analogous thermal circuit. No question? Okay, so we'll start with write-up part. Give heading as an electrical analogy for Fourier's law of conduction. Electrical analogy for Fourier's law of conduction. Electrical analogy for Fourier's law of conduction. Or you can directly say that electrical analogy for conduction. Electrical analogy for conduction. Because Fourier's law is applicable only for the conduction. Okay, so electrical circuit, draw this electrical circuit. Everyone, to increase your visibility, you can use the zoom feature also. Okay, so draw this electrical analogy, electrical circuit first. And please note down all the points from the slide. Okay, because the subject is difficult, and I will not say difficult, but more conceptual and more problems are there. If you understand the concept, then and then only you are able to solve the problems. So note down each and every concept, that will help you to understand the problems also. So it is as simple as, okay. Draw the electric circuit diagram. Okay, then by Ohm's law, by Ohm's law, by Ohm's law, by Ohm's law, current in bracket I, current in bracket I, capital I, is equal to is equal to current in bracket capital I is equal to potential difference potential difference potential difference in bracket dv potential difference in bracket dv whole divided by whole divided by whole divided by electrical resistance in bracket capital R in bracket capital R. Okay, so equation is I is equal to dv divided by R. This is the equation by Ohm's law. Okay, I is equal to dv divided by R. Okay, you can give this as equation number one. Equation number one. Equation number one. Equation number one. Then draw our simple slab diagram. Simple slab diagram. Simple slab diagram. Here you can write that T1 T suffix 1 is greater than or here directly I will write greater than T2 T suffix 2. Okay, T1 is greater than T2. Okay, so this is the basic condition to transfer the heat from surface 1 to surface 2. Okay, from this surface to the another side surface. Okay, so have you drawn this particular diagram? Okay, so further now we have to apply the Fourier's law. So according to by Fourier's law or according to Fourier's law, we can write heat transfer Q, heat transfer Q, heat transfer Q is equal to minus K multiply by A multiply by A multiply by dt divided by dx dt divided by dx. Now these two steps shows you how this negative sign absorbed or why this negative sign provide. Okay, so first of all we written the dt is nothing but temperature change. Okay, change in temperature. So change in temperature is T2 minus T1. Okay, so q is equal to q is equal to q is equal to minus k multiply by a multiply by in bracket T2 minus T1 T2 minus T1. Okay, bracket complete, whole divided by dx. Dx is the thickness of that particular slab or length traveled by the heat to reach another surface. Okay, so minus k multiply by a multiply by T2 minus T1 whole divided by dx whole divided by dx. Now in this particular equation we have absorbed this negative sign inside the bracket. Okay, how it is happening? So for that purpose I have put up this particular two steps. Okay, so how the negative sign can be absorbed inside the bracket. So absorb this negative sign inside the bracket in this particular equation, and T1 become plus, okay, and T2 become minus, okay. So the equation will become Q is equal to K multiply by A multiply by into bracket T1 minus T2 whole divided by dx, okay. So next, just we want to convert this particular equation in the as the Ohm's law is there, as I is equal to dV divided by R. So in that format we want to convert this equation. For that reason we have transferred K and A to the denominator side without changing the significance of equation, okay, without changing the significance of equation. So in this equation, just we had transferred K and A to the numerator side. Okay. So the equation become Q is equal to Q is equal to T1 minus T2 in bracket T1 minus T2 whole divided by dx divided by K multiplied by A, dx divided by K multiplied by A, dx divided by K multiplied by A. Okay. Now, if you compare the equation 1 with this particular equation, then we'll come to know that I, I is analogous to Q, dV is analogous to dt, and whatever the remaining part is a resistance in a similar and this resistance at the numerator at the denominator side. So in a similar manner, here the remaining part in the denominator side is the thermal resistance, so that the denominator side will be a thermal resistance. Okay. So Q is equal to dt divided by RTH. Q is equal to dt divided by RTH. Okay. Q is equal to dt divided by RTH. Q is equal to dt divided by RTH. Give this equation number 2 for this particular equation. Equation number 2. Now, we have to write the analogy statements. Next, we have to write the analogy statement by comparing equation 1 and 2. By comparing equation 1 and 2, we have to write the analogy statements. Okay. By the analogy between equation 1 and equation 2, by the analogy between equation 1 and equation 2, by the analogy between equation 1 and equation 2. First statement, current I is analogous to Q. Current I is analogous to Q. We can say that analogous to heat transfer rate or rate of heat transfer. Analogous to rate of heat transfer. Okay, rate of heat transfer. Okay, current I is analogous to rate of heat transfer, Q. Then second, potential difference in bracket dV, potential difference in bracket dV is analogous to temperature difference. Potential difference dV is analogous to temperature difference in bracket dt, and third statement, electrical resistance in bracket R or you can say RE also, no problem, but R is better. Okay, okay. Electrical resistance in bracket R, analogous to analogous to analogous to thermal resistance, thermal resistance, thermal resistance, thermal resistance in bracket R suffix th, that is thermal resistance R suffix th. Whereas RTH is equal to RTH is equal to, that is thermal resistance is equal to dx divided by K multiply by A. RTH is equal to dx, RTH is equal to dx divided by K multiply by A, dx divided by K multiply by A, or or RTH is equal to, or RTH is equal to L divided by K multiply by A. RTH is equal to L divided by K multiply by A. Okay, getting everyone? Now, analogous thermal circuit, analogous thermal circuit, analogous thermal circuit. How we can draw the analogous thermal circuit for this particular slab? This slab we can convert into this particular thermal circuit. Okay, we can convert this slab into this particular thermal circuit. Okay, so how the temperature difference, or heat is flowing because of a temperature difference. So at this point you can draw a T1. Okay, so heat is flowing, heat flowing direction from T1 surface, it is flowing to the T2 surface. So direction will be this. Okay, and Q, we have to provide, heat is flowing, so Q is there, and a resistance offered by the slab, resistance offered by the slab for the flowing of a heat, that is the resistance symbol, and that resistance offered by slab is RTH. Okay, thermal resistance, which is called as a thermal resistance, which will be equal to dx divided by K multiply by A, which will be equal to dx divided by K multiply by A. Okay, getting everyone? Any doubt, any question? Have you written all the points? Okay, great. If you have any doubt, you can ask. Okay, okay, great, Prajwal. Please note down all the points. Okay, now next, we try to solve some problems on this particular concept. Okay, so take down the first problem, problem number 1. Give the heading as problem number 1. Problem number 1. This is the simple problems, huh? So problem number 1, calculate the rate of heat transfer, calculate the rate of heat transfer, calculate the rate of heat transfer per unit area, calculate the rate of heat transfer per unit area, calculate the rate of heat transfer, calculate the rate of heat transfer per unit area through a copper plate, through a copper plate, through a copper plate, through a copper plate of 45 mm thickness, of 45 mm thickness, of 45 mm thickness, 45 mm thickness, whose one face, whose one face, whose one face, whose one face is maintained, whose one face is maintained, is maintained at 350 degrees Celsius, at 350 degrees Celsius, whose one face is maintained at 350 degrees Celsius, and other phase and other phase and other phase and other phase is maintained is maintained is maintained is maintained at at 50 degrees Celsius, is maintained at 50 degrees Celsius. Take take K copper, take K copper. K copper means what? Thermal conductivity of copper. Okay. Take take K copper, K suffix copper. Take K suffix copper is equal to 370 watt per meter degree Celsius. Remember the unit of thermal conductivity always. Thermal conductivity of a copper, that is K copper is equal to 370 watt per meter degree Celsius. Watt per meter degree Celsius. Okay. So first of all, we try to understand the problem. Okay. So first, that is nothing but the rate of heat transfer per unit area we need to find out. Okay. And the copper plate thickness is provided. Okay. Copper plate thickness is provided, that is the 45 mm. So we know that the thickness is nothing but the length which is traveled by heat to reach the another surface. Okay. So L is equal to dx is equal to 45 mm. Given data, write down the given data. L is equal to dx is equal to 45 mm. Okay. And we need to convert it into a meter. Okay. Mm into meter. Okay. So for that purpose, we have to multiply with 10 raised to minus 3 to mm value. Okay, millimeter value. So 45 multiplied by 10 raised to minus 3. 45 multiplied by 10 raised to minus 3. Further, in the data, it is provided that whose one phase is maintained at a 350 degrees Celsius and other phase is maintained at a 50 degrees Celsius. Okay, so T1 will become 350 degrees Celsius and T2 is 50 degrees Celsius only. Okay, T1 is 350 and T2 is 50 degrees Celsius only. Okay, then next, thermal conductivity of a copper, that is K copper, is provided in the statement. So that the K copper is the given data, that is nothing but thermal conductivity of a copper is equal to 370 watt per meter degree Celsius. Okay, and what we have to find out? Calculate the rate of heat transfer per unit area. Calculate the rate of heat transfer per unit area. So heat transfer per unit area or the rate of heat transfer per unit area is nothing but, okay, heat transfer means what? Q. Okay, rate of heat transfer means what? Q. Rate of heat transfer means what? Q. And per unit area means what? Q by A. Okay, Q by A is capital Q by A is nothing but heat flux. Okay, capital Q by A is nothing but heat flux. We can say the heat flux symbol over here, that is the small q. Small q is the symbol for heat flux. Heat flux is nothing but the ratio of heat transfer to the area. Okay, so that we have to find out. Okay, now here we have to draw one diagram, simple diagram, 1D diagram. This is the 1D diagram. Slab is a 3D. Okay, we are dealing with the 3D diagram initially. Okay, now here we have to just need to draw one 1D diagram only. Okay, so this is showing the thickness of that particular slab. Okay, 45 mm is the thickness of the slab, copper slab. Okay, and one face is maintained at a 350 degrees Celsius. Okay, so T1 is equal to 350 degrees Celsius, whereas the other surface is maintained at a 50 degrees Celsius only. Okay, is maintained at a 50 degrees Celsius only. So for the understanding purpose or to get the easy solution of the problem, remember, drawing is always helpful. Okay, if you draw, you'll get the answer as early as possible. Okay, so 1D diagram is the useful diagram to understand the problem and to find out the unknown quantity. Okay, so T1 is maintained at a 350 degrees Celsius, whereas T2 is maintained at a 50 degrees Celsius, and the thickness of slab is provided. So obviously heat is transferred from the this particular surface to the this surface. Okay, T1 surface or this surface is to the this surface, because heat is always transforming from high temperature region to the low temperature region, or from high temperature surface to the low temperature surface. Okay, then okay, have you drawn this diagram, simple diagram, and have you noted this given data? Then further, what we have to apply? We have to apply Fourier's law of equation to determine the unknown quantity. Okay, we have to apply the Fourier's law of heat conduction to determine the unknown quantity. Okay, so then further, according to Fourier's law, according to Fourier's law, according to the Fourier's law, we know this particular equation. Q is equal to minus K multiplied by A multiplied by dt divided by dx. Okay, Q is equal to minus K multiplied by A multiplied by dt divided by dx. Now we want heat transfer per unit area. Okay, our unknown quantity is heat transfer per unit area. So for that reason, we have to transfer this A from this side to the another side, or Q side. So it will become Q by A. Okay, heat transfer rate per unit area. Just transfer A from this side to the another side. So it will become heat transfer rate per unit area. So we get the equation after transforming the area to another side. We'll get the equation as Q divided by A, that is heat transfer rate per unit area, is equal to minus K multiplied by dt divided by dx. dt divided by dx. Getting everyone? How we have converted this equation into another format. Okay, now this capital Q divided by A is nothing but heat flux. Okay, heat transfer rate per unit area is heat flux. Okay, and we denoted this heat flux as small q. Okay, we denoted this heat flux or Q by A as small q. Okay, now we just find out the value of this particular small q. Other values we know. Okay, so K is the thermal conductivity and its value is 3. It is provided in a given data as 370 watt per meter degree Celsius. Okay, so just we have put up the value from the given data, multiply by T2. Okay, T2 is 50. Okay, 50 degrees Celsius. T2 is a 50 degrees Celsius minus T1. T1 is a 370 degrees Celsius. Okay, 50 minus 370. Okay,
350.
Yes. Yes. Any question? Any doubt?
Sir, 50 minus 350.
50 minus 370. 350.
350.
Okay. Okay.
350,
350.
sir.
Okay. Sorry. 50 minus 350. Okay. Great. Okay. So 50 minus 350 whole divided by thickness of that particular slab. Thickness of that particular slab. Thickness is 45 multiplied by 10 raised to minus 3. Okay, 45 multiplied by 10 raised to minus 3. Now do the calculation. Please keep your calci with you while attending the HT lectures. Okay, because we need to solve so many problems in this particular subject. So calci is must to understand the calculations and to understand the problems related to the topic. Okay, so 45 multiplied by 10 raised to minus 3 is the thickness of the slab. So we have divided by 45 multiplied by 10 raised to minus 3. You just put up your answer in the chat box. Okay. What is the Q? Small q, that is heat flux, that is heat transfer rate per unit area. heat transfer rate per unit area. Please tell me the answer. You can comment in chat box also your answer. Simple calculation. (2.26 into 10 raised to 6). First answer I'm getting 2.26. Okay, right. Sunil, Shreyesh, Sachin, Pranay. Okay, so 2.47 into 10 raised to 6 watt per meter square. Watt per meter square, right? Okay, so the answer is Q is equal to 2.466 into 10 raised to 6 watt per meter square. Okay, so it is heat transfer rate is in a watt, and we want to find out heat transfer rate per unit area. So its unit will be watt per meter square. Okay, watt per meter square. Okay, so that is the answer. Everyone getting this answer? These are the simple problems. Okay, no rocket science required to solve these problems. In GATE examination also these problems will ask for 1 mark. Okay, simple problems. Over, everyone? The same answer you are getting? Okay, great. So shall we move ahead to the next problem? Have we noted all the points from this particular problem? Okay. Then the next problem. Okay, problem number 2. Problem number 2. Okay, a plane wall. Write down the problem number 2. A plane wall. A plane wall. Wall means bint. Okay, a plane wall. A plane wall. There are 2 types of wall we are going to study in this particular chapter. That is plane wall and composite wall. So it should be specifically mentioned that whether it is plane wall or composite wall. Plane walls means single wall only, and composite means 2, 3 walls, 4 walls, 5 walls, 6 walls combined together. That is nothing but composite wall. So here the problem is about the plane wall. Plane wall means single wall, or it is made up of a single material. Okay, or whose thermal conductivity is, or only one value of a thermal conductivity for that particular wall. Okay, that will be considered as a plane wall. Okay, so plane wall, a plane wall is 150 mm thick. A plane wall is 150 mm thick. Thickness is provided. A plane wall is 150 mm thick, and its area is 4.5 meter square, and its area is 4.5 meter square, and its area is 4.5 meter square, and its area is 4.5 meter square. Full stop. If conductivity is if conductivity is if conductivity is if conductivity is 9.35, if conductivity is 9.35 if conductivity is 9.35 watt per meter degree Celsius, if conductivity is 9.35 9.35 9.35 watt per meter degree Celsius, and surface temperatures are steady, and surface temperatures are steady, and surface temperatures are steady at 150 degrees Celsius, at 150 degrees Celsius, at 150 degrees Celsius, and 45 degrees Celsius, and 45 degrees Celsius, and 45 degrees Celsius. Determine first one heat flow across the plane wall, heat flow across the plane wall, heat flow across the plane wall. And second one, temperature gradient, and second one, temperature gradient. Okay, full stop. A plane wall is 150 mm thick and its area is 4.5 meter square. If thermal conductivity is 9.35 watt per meter degree Celsius and surface temperatures are steady at 150 degrees Celsius and 45 degrees Celsius, determine first one, heat flow across the plane wall, and second one, temperature gradient. Two unknowns we have to determine in this particular problem. Okay, so solution should start with the given data. So thickness is provided 150 mm. So length should be traveled by heat to reach the another surface is equal to 150 mm or 0.15 meter. Okay, convert that mm into meter. Okay, 150 mm is equal to 0.15 meter. Area, surface area is provided. Area is equal to 4.5 meter square. Okay, area is 4.5 meter square. Then T1 temperature is provided as 150 degrees Celsius. T1 temperature is provided as 150 degrees Celsius. T2 temperature provided as 45 degrees Celsius. 45 degrees Celsius. And thermal conductivity of wall is provided as 9.35 watt per meter degree Celsius. Okay, 9.35 watt per meter degree Celsius. Okay, find Q, that is the heat flow across plane wall. Q we have to determine, that is heat flow across the plane wall. And second is temperature gradient. Temperature gradient means what? Change in temperature with respect to change in length. Okay, that is dt divided by dx or dt divided by L. dt divided by L. So that two quantities we have to determine. So draw a 1D diagram, simple 1D diagram. Okay, front side should be a thickness of that particular wall. Okay, thickness of that wall. One side of a wall is maintained at a T1 degree Celsius temperature, which is equal to 150 degrees Celsius, and other side of that particular wall is maintained at T2 temperature, that is 45 degrees Celsius temperature, and the thermal conductivity K of that particular wall, which is the known quantity. Okay, now first we have to determine the Q by using the Fourier's law of heat conduction. Okay, once we determine the Q, then determine the temperature gradient. Okay, over this Have you noted all the given data? Shall we move ahead to the next point? Solution. Okay, so solution, first we have to determine the heat flow across a plane wall. Simply use the Fourier's law. Q is equal to minus K multiplied by A multiplied by dt divided by dx. Okay, so all the quantities are known and it is provided in a given data. Just we have to determine the value of a Q, that is the heat flow across a plane wall. Okay, so thermal conductivity K is 9.35 watt per meter square, watt per meter degree Celsius. Area, it is 4.5 meter square, multiply by T2 minus T1. T2 minus T1. So T2 is 45 and T1 is 150. So 45 minus 150 whole divided by thickness of slab or thickness of a wall or the length traveled by a heat to reach the another surface. So it is equal to 0.15 meter, 150 mm, that is 0.15 meter. Okay, so just divide by 0.15. So we'll get the value of a Q. Tell me the value of Q. 29.42. Someone mention in the chat box. Any another opinion? Okay, 29.45. Okay, right. Okay, so answer will be if you want to write the complete value, then it will become 2945.2.5. Okay, or which will be equal to 29.45 multiply by 10 to the power 3. Okay, 10 to the power 3. Okay, right, and its unit will be watt only, right? Its unit is watt. Okay, getting everyone? Now next we have to determine the temperature gradient. Now we know the Q value, okay, A value, K value, A value, and just we have to determine the dt divided by dx. Okay, dt divided by dx. So temperature gradient dt divided by dx. So use the same formula that is given by the Fourier. Q is equal to minus K multiplied by A multiplied by dt divided by dx, and convert that formula in the form of a dt divided by dx. Okay, so keep this dt divided by dx on one side and another remaining part we have to transfer on another side. Okay, so we'll get the equation as minus Q divided by K multiplied by A is equal to dt divided by dx. So in the form of a dt divided by dx, it will be equal to minus Q multiplied by divided by K multiplied by A. Okay, right? Once it is converted, just put up your values and find out the unknown quantity. Okay, find out the unknown quantity. So dt divided by dx, we just determine the Q value. So minus Q is positive, but the negative sign from the equation. Okay, from the equation. So minus 29452.5 whole divided by 9.35 multiplied by 4.5. 9.35 multiplied by 4.5. Right, minus 699. Great. Okay, any other opinion? Minus 700. Right. With accuracy, minus 700 is the right answer. minus 700, and its unit will be degree Celsius per meter, and its unit will be degree Celsius per meter. Degree Celsius per meter. dt divided by dx. Its unit will be degree Celsius per meter. Okay, getting everyone? Is there any doubt, any question from these two problems or electrical analogy? Understood? Please comment in the chat box whether you understood the problems, electrical analogy or not. Please mention in chat box. If you have any doubt also, you can mention in the chat box, no problem. Great. Great. Okay, so we'll stop here now. Further things we will discuss in the next lecture. Just put up your roll numbers in the chat box. Thank you. And you can leave this particular meeting if you don't have any question.